Hi, I'm Pam Holt, the happy host, and today I have the absolute pleasure of welcoming one of the short-term rental industry's brightest stars. Join me today to welcome Tatiana Taylor-Tait. She is interior design professional as well as a short-term rental coach. She's here today to tell us all about how she got started, what she's doing now, and at the end, we're going to talk about a really special thing that happened this week for all of us, and we're so excited to share it with you. But let me welcome now Tatiana. Yay. I wish I had an
Hello.
audience, clap soundtrack so I could bring in real
No,
applause for you. Welcome.
no. What a great intro that is.
Oh no, I'm so happy to have you here and to hear your story. I love it when there's a good backstory because otherwise it looks like you just appeared on the scene, fully formed and with a huge audience and lovely and people and wardrobe, and it's all spectacular, and maybe it is for you, but maybe there's a little more to it that people would be interested in hearing about. So start at the beginning. How did you get started in this industry?
Perfect. First of all, don't we wish it was that easy just to
Yeah,
show up? Here
yeah,
I am, world.
yeah, we do.
Um, no, but it definitely, there were a lot of ups and downs when I first got started. And I know I briefly started telling you, and I'll save it for this story now. But so about 7 years ago is when my short-term rental journey all started. And boy, when I look back on how far I've come in this, I don't even I don't even know who that person was back then, but I am so grateful for the journey, for the obstacles I have had to overcome, and for everything that, it taught me and I learned from it. So about almost 7 years ago now, I actually was dealing with a lot of things that were upcoming in my life. So I actually lost my mother to a tragic car accident. Shortly after that, my dog passed away. And then about a month after that, I then got laid off and lost my job.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so you'd
That's
think
tough.
that at this point you're like, okay, what else can
No,
happen?
don't say that. Don't say that.
You know,
Don't say
and
what else.
and that's one of the things. So I, of course, am going through everything that the universe is throwing at me at that moment, and I am feeling all the emotions. I don't know what to do with my life.
Sure.
I've now not only lost my family support group and my furry best friend, I have now lost my financial
Income.
security.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And through that, I don't, most people are like that, but I am one of those people that if I don't know, like my daily battle with like scarcity mindset is an ongoing thing that I'm always working on. But that is one thing that if you're like, oh, you don't have any income anymore, try to figure it out. That is like always on my mind. How am I going to make this work? How am I going to fix this? What is going to be the solution? And
Okay.
at that time, I was feeling really lost. I wasn't connecting with people the way I needed to. I was grieving and just going through it all. So with that, I kind of got in my mind, I was like, something's got to give. I got to change. I got to figure out answers. And so I went in total eat, pray, love mode and decided to take a 2-month trip to Europe by myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
And
cool.
I thought, so the whole time I was like, the finances are going to run out, but at this point, let's just make it
See
happen
how
and it's
far it
going to figure
goes?
itself out. And I heard about people, at the time I was so I live in Vancouver, Canada, and I was living in a 2-bedroom basement suite. So one of the things, it was a beautiful basement suite, brand new, but one of the things about real estate in Vancouver is it is extremely expensive to live here.
Okay.
So we're talking at 7 years ago, a 2-bedroom basement suite was $2,000 a month. Which is huge, and especially 7 years ago. And so with that, I was like, okay, I can't afford to, have this whole place and go traveling and cover all these expenses and overhead. So I heard that people were using Airbnb to rent out their space.
Okay.
So what I initially did is I was like, okay, I'm gonna go away for 2 months. Let's see if I take some great pictures of the things I have. I didn't buy anything new. I just had my house nicely decorated.
I love this.
And so what I did is I snapped some pictures. I'm pretty sure I even snapped the pictures with my phone at the time or anything like that, which now we know is not really the
No,
ideal.
it's better than not doing it, right? It's
Yeah.
better to do it than not do it.
Of
It's
course.
better to do it well, but it's just do it. Just get it going, get it started. I love this.
Yeah, so then I took some pictures, uploaded it, and just had my fingers crossed. And you know, I wasn't surprised really. Actually, I was more than surprised in the situation because it instantly booked and allowed me not only to cover all my expenses and overhead while I traveled to, you know, find this new me that
Yeah.
I so needed. It actually put extra money in my pocket that it covered my whole trip, and I was able to come home with money actually in the bank and in savings, which was huge. And then so from there, I was like, hey, there's something here. I really like this. And I'm always kind of one of those people that even when I had the guests that were staying while I was away, I was checking in. I'm like, how do you like it? Is there anything I can, you know, help you or figure out, you know, if there's something that you need in the home, I can get it for you.
You're hosting.
I know. My hosting, like, I really take pride in it. But so once I got home, I was like, okay, I like this. I like meeting new people, especially from my travels. I was on this high of meeting new people and wanting to connect with others and everything.
Nice.
And share, you know, my journey and share theirs. So I was like, I'll just rent out my spare room. So I actually moved into the other room and I left my bedroom, which was the nicer decorated one, for them.
Smart.
And yeah, so every month I would rent it out, or for a couple of days, of course, short term. And it was booking like crazy. I was meeting so many people. I would, you know, make so many friends in the thing. It was just such a great experience. And then over that time, I was like, this is the potential to be, you know, a business. I'm going to keep doing this. And with that, so I originally went to school for marketing and graphic design. That is what my original background was. And then basically, as I was doing this, a friend referred me to a developer, and that developer was looking for a designer. And I said, well, I don't really have that much experience, but I kind of have an eye. So if you want to take the risk on me, let's do it. I'm game. And he did that, and which basically opened the floodgates for this whole domino effect of like what my life is now. And basically, he absolutely loved what I did with interior design. He also did property management through Airbnb. And yeah, and so basically I started setting up all these properties for short-term rentals, and designing all these homes, which led into designing new builds, home renovations of heritage homes, you name it. And then I took an interior design course just to kind of educate myself on plans and all the details that you don't really are the behind the scenes of the business. And from there, I worked with him for about 5 years on as a contract, doing projects with him and helping set up the short-term rentals and doing the property management and really taking in as much as I could. I just wanted to learn everything that I could to take it out and, you know, go on my own with it. And during that time, I won awards for my designs. Oh man, it was a wild ride of everything that actually happened. And I'm so grateful for all of that experience. And basically about 2 years ago, I finally said, I think I've learned everything I can learn. I'm ready to go out on my own. And I haven't looked back since then. I manage multiple properties for clients all over the world internationally, from Canada, the States, Mexico, you name it, as well as I have a couple of my own. And the one story that's probably like the crazy story of mine that really got me off the ground through the rental arbitrage method is I actually worked with another developer who bought a property and it was going to be torn down. And I talked to him and I said, in the meantime, why don't I rent the property from you until you get your permits, and then I'll leave. That way there's no people, no people breaking into the property or anything happening. So I did that, and it was this rundown 7-bedroom house.
Oh, wow.
And the one thing about this is my fiance and I, we always joke about this, because this is one of the things that when we first started dating, he was a part of. And we always joke that it took years off of our life. But this house was a nightmare and a blessing at the same time. So what I did is we made it as pretty as we could make it for what it was. And I rented out each of the 7 rooms and had all the communal spaces as shared spaces, like hostel style, which I basically picked up from while I was traveling Europe. So with that, that house did amazing. We had it for about 6 or 7 months. And it did, in the 6 or 7 months, it did about $60,000 of income that it brought in. But the one thing about that property is it had multiple floods during that time. Like, oh my goodness, power outages,
it was rough, huh?
It was rough, but I wouldn't trade it for anything, because it definitely, I think it gives you that tough skin when you're going into others. And then when anything else happens, you're like, oh, that's nothing. Right. I got this.
You're building confidence. You're like, oh, no, it's been much worse than that. Yes, that's fantastic. So how did you finance furnishing the place? Did you just have furniture available, or did you have to buy stuff, or did you just get stuff from people? How'd you do it?
So at that time, I actually decided to move in with my now fiance, was my boyfriend at that time. So I had furniture left over from my previous basement suite, but obviously I didn't have 7 bedrooms worth of furniture. So I was very creative in finding, of course, Wayfair, Facebook Marketplace, Amazon, you name it. Right. But I put it all at that time on my credit card. And I was so scared, because I am not, like, at the beginning, I was not a risk taker. And especially, like I said, if it comes about money, I'm like, I don't know about this. But I took that risk. I actually ended up furnishing the whole house, other than my own things, for $7,000, which was amazing. I was very, very creative, and it looked really good. I went for a bohemian kind of vibe, which I think made it work with how old the house was.
Smart, good.
But no, it was absolutely amazing. And in about a month and a half, I was completely paid off and already making a profit.
This is the best story ever. This is exactly, you like living proof of what I tell people is possible. And it all starts with you actually trying it. And I tell people all the time that, if you put it out there a little bit and it's working, go for it. If you put it out there and you're not so thrilled with it, or if you need some help with it, find some help. But it's possible to really make a small kind of consideration into a full-blown business like you've done. That is fabulous. So what happened after you shut down the house and they tore it down, I guess?
So I actually, with the profits that we made, I invested in a condo with some partners
Okay.
downtown, and we renovated and flipped that,
Okay.
and rented it out for a couple of months, short-term rental as well. And then from there, we sold that, and I was like, you know what, I want to share this experience with people that have been in the same boat as me, and give them the opportunity to have or create financial freedom, or some kind of you know decision that they have control of their
Yes.
life, and they can go from there. And basically, so I started sharing it more online, and I was already getting people coming to me, that lived in Vancouver, and asking for them to help, kind of set up their rentals, what they should do, and everything from there. So I was consulting,
Okay.
on the side. But with that, I was like, you know what? I think I would love to share this online and build a community, or find a community that is in the same mindset as I am. And that's kind of when I started searching online, and I realized the short-term rental community is huge. And it
Yes.
just continued, especially over COVID. I feel like it just continued to
Yes.
grow.
It did.
Um, and which was so amazing, because I've met so many amazing people. And during that time, I've helped about over 30 families just in Vancouver alone, set up short-term rentals, put themselves into retirement, you name it. Um,
Right.
and with that, I created Thanks for Booking, which is my course that I have, right now. And I initially started doing the course and one-on-one coaching. And now the course is evergreen at this point. But yeah, it just kind of opened up to this whole thing. I wanted to give back, be to, my community, to people around me, and educate them in the same thing. Because, having the life you want and turning your life around when you feel that you're at, I thought I was at my rock bottom.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And that pushed me into a whole new direction, opened up doors that I didn't even think were imaginable. And now, I do what I work from home, I do what I want. My schedule is my own. I can travel when I want, or anything like that. And it's really so amazing. Of course, being an entrepreneur, or like owning your own business, is so, when you're starting to learn and feel things out, it's a lot of hit and miss, and learning from what
That's good.
happens.
That's okay. As
Uh,
long as you learn from the experience, and nobody gets hurt, it's okay.
exactly. And there were definitely tons of, learning experiences for me. But I love the thrill. I love, helping other people, helping them change their life, and really seeing just, you know, what they are capable of, and helping them kind of see that. That is honestly probably my favorite part, is helping instill the confidence in
Yes.
other people, being like, girl, if I've done this, you can do this, I swear to you. Um, and
So,
that's some, yeah.
your course like how to set up, or is it specifically the interior design, or what's the course about?
So we touch on interior design, but it's mainly how to build, scale, and automate your short-term rental business.
Okay, so it's everything. It's the whole
Mhm.
gamut. Okay, well, that's exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So, do you see yourself in going forward as the short-term rental coach more, or are you interested in being more of the interior designer, or do you want to, split it, or you want to do something different and just chuck it and travel? Where are you going from here?
I think, oh, that is the $1 million question, isn't it? I feel I'm just going with the flow here, but
Like I'll let you know.
yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm a very, very creative person, and probably also have a very short attention span to things. So with that, I think I like doing both, because I'm not sure, about you or about other people, but if I'm too stuck in a specific routine, I do get bored. So I always need to like switch it up. And with doing interior design and short-term rentals, coaching, having my own short-term rentals as well as, consulting others on theirs, there is never a dull
Something
moment.
different every day, right?
It's something different every day. And I absolutely love that because I can't stay in the same thing. And so if I'm ever like, okay, I love short-term rentals to death. I love everything about it. But of course, sometimes you're like, okay, I can't talk about it right now. I just need a mental break from it. So
Right,
then
like,
I
okay,
kind of,
that's enough of that for a minute. Right,
yes.
I get
So then
that.
I go back into interior design. And I think, one of the things that I love about that and having my background in marketing and graphic design is everything kind of rolls over into one.
Yeah,
And a lot of, what I do in interior design not only helps me design my own rentals, help clients with theirs when they want, themed properties, or they're really trying to figure out who their ideal guest is and things like that. That really kind of helps fuel that whole process. And then vice versa, the other way around, when I'm designing people's homes, I'm like, well, if this is a rental, let's take this into consideration and everything from there.
right. I think that's a perfect background for someone who wants to do what you're doing, because you can see it from both sides, and that's really
Mm-hmm.
valuable. And sometimes people, especially people who are renting maybe their first space or even space in their home, are kind of too close to it. And so they need someone to come in and say, okay, you're close, but this needs to change, and you need to factor this in, and you need to consider who's coming to your space, and we need to kind of work with that guest and what they would expect. So I think you're very well positioned. So a little birdie tells me that something big, another big thing is happening in your world. And so congratulations. I understand that you are a published author.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure, am I allowed to say for something special for you too?
Yes, yes. Okay. So, full transparency, we are together as authors in a collaborative book project called Hospitable Hosts. I'm so excited about it. I have to say, from my perspective, the most exciting part about it has been getting to meet people like you and others that are involved globally in this project. And so, in case you don't know, and I don't know how you wouldn't know already because I've been talking about it for a while, but if you don't know, each host has their own chapter, and they get to discuss whatever they want in their chapter related to their hosting. So without giving it all away, what did you talk about in your chapter?
So I did talk about my journey, which you guys now know a little bit about. But, one of the biggest things that I think was my lesson through my journey and what makes me a hospitable host and why I love hosting so much is through hosting, I not only, learned so much about myself and was able to go from there, but my whole stages of hosting and connecting with others and everything like that actually helped me heal throughout my grieving process. So that was a huge thing, and is one of the reasons why I love hosting today. So that's probably my favorite thing, and I can't wait. One of the things that I'm most excited for anybody who reads the book, definitely pick it up if you get a chance, is to really listen to. There are some amazing stories in
Yeah.
this book, and they are so inspiring in the sense of like all the different walks of life that they come from. I am so confident that anyone reading this book will pick it up and they will find a chapter that truly resonates with them and shows them that at any moment in your life, you can make this change. You can go down this path if you choose to, and there's truly amazing things in store.
Yeah, and there are people that will help you with that journey, like yourself.
Yes.
Your story is super inspiring, and I'm glad you had hosting to help you through that difficult time. I hope that, when you think back on your beginnings, you really value how far you've come and how far, just generally speaking, you've come as a person since that time. So I'm happy that was there for you. And I just want to thank you. I mean, I could talk forever, but I'm not. I try to keep this to a minimum. Thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait to read your chapter, and I can't wait to meet you in person, because anybody who's listening to this and who isn't already coming to this, we're having the short-term, what's it called, the STR Wealth Conference in
Yeah,
Nashville, June 6th, 7th, and 8th.
yes.
And so it's open to the public. If you really want to get into this industry, if you really want to hear the stories, there's 3 days of lectures and seminars and cocktail parties and all kinds of networking. And I encourage you to join us. And I'm looking forward. I'm gonna find you in the crowd
Yeah.
and thank you in person. So I appreciate your time today. How can people reach you?
Probably the best way to reach me is through my Instagram at Tatiana Taylor-Tait. You can either shoot me a DM, or in my bio, I have a whole thing of resources and links for you, including my course, as
Yeah.
well as my Etsy that has a bunch of templates that are all done for you if you are an existing host.
Oh, how cool. That's very cool. I have to check you out. I haven't seen the Etsy store, but I have seen everything else. And so thanks so much again for today. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to meeting you soon.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, fantastic.
Oh, I think you're still
Am I
recording.
still recording? Okay, I'll edit that part. Sorry.